And now you have to ask yourself, how did 50 come into the possession of Diddy's footage for Diddy's documentary about Diddy?
A lot of insight. And, this documentary is about people being able to tell their truth or tell their version.
For years, Katt Williams was often dismissed as someone who simply spoke too freely. But that perception began to change after his January 2024 Club Shay Shay interview, when several of his statements appeared to resonate with events that later unfolded publicly. He was no longer seen by many viewers as simply a comedian making provocative remarks. Instead, his comments were increasingly interpreted as observations about power, secrecy, and an entertainment industry where influential people could allegedly protect one another. Then 50 Cent's documentary Sean Combs, The Reckoning arrived, revisiting long-standing allegations and patterns while leaving certain influential names outside the discussion. That development brought renewed attention to Katt's earlier remarks, particularly his warning about 7 supposedly untouchable figures, encouraging viewers to revisit his words and draw their own connections as Diddy's legal troubles continued to develop, raising the possibility that Katt's comments may have been pointing toward a much larger story.
Jam 25. It's good to see so many funny people together in one room, all wondering the same thing. Is Katt Williams gonna
At Def Comedy Jam 25, the venue was filled with legendary comedians, nonstop laughter, and an unmistakable feeling of anticipation. Yet beneath the celebratory atmosphere, there was a noticeable sense of tension, because everyone seemed to be thinking about the same question. Would Katt Williams actually make an appearance?
From Suge Knight. It's from his podcast with Dave Mays, and he's speaking on, Tupac and Snoop being cool, and how, after Tupac got killed, Snoop started hanging out with Diddy. And, he also speaks on how, Snoop, he did the Steve Harvey show with Diddy after Tupac got killed. Check this out.
Okay. It's downloading right now.
Then you look at the scenario how everybody used Pac to make their stuff famous or make their project better. You got people who use their songs with Pac and tell them how much they love Pac, but they do songs with Puffy. You got Steve Harvey, old bit that, this motherfucker telling, well, Pac, according to everybody else, he brings Snoop and Puffy on there and say, these the dudes who's running this in the East Coast, West Coast.
What's up, Snoop?
What's up, huh? Hey, whoa. Wait a minute, fellas here. Hold up. I know all about this East Coast, West Coast rivalry thing here, but we in Chicago now. This rivalry stuff, we gotta stop it, man. We stop that, we stop a lot of this violence.
Yo, Steve, check this, man. All that East Coast, West Coast stuff is a bunch of media hype. It's been my dog from day one, you know what I'm saying? It's all good between me and him. That's my peoples.
For real, that's what we came here for. We came in to light it up and ride it up. We make it.
Now, Pac, if you love Pac so much, how you with the mother place they got something to do with the first get down that happened to Pac in New York, then the second one.
What you think about Suge comments? And I never asked you this before, but did you have an issue with Snoop hanging out with Diddy after Tupac got killed?
I always felt that was wrong. I'm gonna just keep it real. I'm talking about from that, like now, okay. You know what I mean? I'm 46, Snoop probably early 50s. If he figured out now, he might go by the opinion like, okay, Puffy had nothing to do with Pac. We grown now. If he want to be his friend, no problem. But back then, that was just awkward. You know what I mean? And the reason why it was awkward to me that I never even like it because you knew how Pac felt about this.
The implication seemed clear. According to Katt, Diddy was not operating entirely on his own, but was surrounded by layers of powerful people who were viewed as too influential to confront publicly. Katt never provided a complete list or directly identified all 7 individuals, yet his comments were enough to trigger widespread speculation across the internet. As often happens in situations like this, audiences quickly began developing their own theories about who he might have been referring to. One of the first names to repeatedly surface in those discussions was Snoop Dogg, demonstrating how quickly speculation can spread when prominent names are mentioned indirectly or left unidentified.
Hey, you lying! You're lying! He's lying! He didn't even buy it yet! He's lying!
Fans were quick to highlight that Snoop had openly spoken for years about attending Diddy's parties, while older interviews, jokes, and video clips appeared to show how closely connected their circles had been. As online rumors and resurfaced stories continued circulating, despite remaining unverified and largely speculative, many viewers began questioning why Snoop's name was absent from the documentary altogether. One theory suggested that including him could have triggered significant backlash, not only among fans but also from powerful figures within the entertainment world. Snoop is more than just a successful rapper. He has become a global brand and major cultural figure, leading some observers to speculate that his level of influence could make him extremely difficult to challenge publicly.
Went off without a hitch last night. A sense of that there. No, inside everything was fine. Outside everything was fine. And Kevin Hart decided that he was going to make jokes about, well, I mean, he's the host, right? So you have to sort of roast a little bit about someone who's in the audience because, well, this person is in a prison, actually right now sitting in a courtroom, and that's Diddy. Yes, he didn't say his name, but it was very clear to everyone who he was talking about here. Watch the reactions in the room.
Diddy was a big part of this culture. You know, right. His after parties, you know, were a part of the BET experience. So, you know, life comes at you fast, but, you know, Kevin had to address the elephant in the room.
By the way, we should say the Diddy after parties that happen after award shows, that's not what the trial is about. Those weren't freak-offs. The trial is something separate, but still, nobody wanted to be seen as laughing at him.
Kevin Hart's name caught many people off guard, particularly as online discussions began focusing on alleged connections from his early career to events, sometimes referred to as Flavor Camp. These gatherings have been associated in online discussions with Diddy and were described as opportunities for aspiring entertainers looking to establish themselves in the industry. Over the years, stories surrounding these events have fueled speculation and continued debate about the relationships between influential figures and how closely certain entertainment careers may have been connected behind the scenes. However, many of the claims circulating online remain unverified, making it important to distinguish speculation from established facts.
I don't know, man. You know, the internet is going wild on him, saying that he was a curator and a narrator of one of the Diddy parties and got caught on tape. You hear that?
Wow. I didn't hear that one.
That must be one of your favorite comedians then. Cause you ain't hear that?
That was cool.
Huh?
I didn't hear it.
Get out of here.
It was cool, but I didn't hear that one. Must have missed it, man. I think I caught most of them.
I think he almost fell in the tub with one of the girls. Diddy had some girls in the tub, a tub of baby oil or something like that, and he almost fell in the tub. It was crazy.
You know, he would be one of the celebrities that I definitely wouldn't think would be involved in anything illegal, for sure.
But you gotta realize this, man. People who get caught up in certain those things like that, those parties and things like that, is that they don't go there looking for that stuff. You gotta understand, they get caught up in the moment with the alcohol, the drugs, and then certain bottles that are laced with certain things that take you away from your normal self. And you end up probably doing something that you probably never do again in your life. You never get caught up in those things ever before. There are a lot of celebrities that go to these parties like this. And they not only Diddy parties. I went to a party before and You Can't Handle the Truth and King Kong Ain't Got Nothing on Me was at one of those parties. I was bodyguarding one of the girls. So what I'm saying is that it's rampant, and this was years ago. This was over 20 years ago. It's rampant in the music industry. It's rampant in Hollywood, film, pictures, and anything.
Can I tell you a story, Killer? I don't think I ever told you this story. This is what Puff taught me. One time I walked in when I was fresh off the streets. I got signed to Bad Boy. I had these fresh Air Nikes on, and then had on Air Nikes too, brand new. I made a mistake and stepped on his sneaker, and the dirt was on his laces, on his white Airs. I said, man, my bad, because I had stepped in some dirt. You know, the nigga came back, put his feet in the dirt, and stepped all over my sneakers. I said, yo, what are you doing? He said, my bad. I said, yo. The moral of the story is, nobody just want to hear you say you're bad.
Fans began revisiting Kevin Hart's earlier comedy routines, and although none of the material provided evidence of wrongdoing, some viewers interpreted certain jokes differently in light of the ongoing speculation, leading to new questions about what he may have encountered throughout his career. Online discussions suggested that mentioning his name could potentially create complicated legal and business issues because of his numerous projects, contracts, and relationships with major studios and entertainment companies. However, nothing was ever confirmed, leaving only continued speculation and a noticeable lack of public discussion that kept curiosity surrounding the subject alive.
Mace was told the day before the incident at the celebrity basketball game that someone was coming for Puffy and Biggie. And another line that Mace said that caught my attention, man, was him saying that never fought the killer. Why is there? How do you feel about him saying that? Because it sounds like he's referring to Biggie getting killed in LA, and Puffy, he's currently living in LA right now. And why does he feel so comfortable living somewhere that Biggie got killed at, knowing that they never fought the killer and the murder is still unsolved?
Well, on all honestly, brother, you would have to ask him that. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm looking at it like that, then I know, you know, those mansions are heavily guarded, 1. 2, he wasn't getting the love that he would get. I don't think he's getting love in LA. I don't know. He said he owns LA, he runs LA, he runs Miami, and he runs New York. So by him running LA, as he say he does, I would feel comfortable too. You know what I'm saying? If I knew for a fact that the person they got, and that was enough to call back all of everything, I would feel that comfortable too. But I wouldn't live there. I wouldn't go there. I'd do business and get on out of there. If I was still afraid, I don't think he may have not ever been afraid. You understand? Because he never acted like he was afraid for whatever reason it was. I can't pinpoint it myself, man.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Mace may be one of the quieter figures mentioned in the discussion, yet his history with Bad Boy Records remains one of the most widely discussed, shaped by public contract disputes, personal frustration, and an apparent distance that became more noticeable after allegations surrounding Diddy emerged. Many people expected Mace to eventually speak openly, but he largely remained silent, and that silence itself became part of the conversation. Some fans speculate that Mace may know more than he has chosen to discuss publicly, while others believe he simply wants to put that chapter of his life behind him and focus on moving forward. According to online speculation, his relationship with the Bad Boy era was deeply personal and closely connected to its inner circle, making his name another subject of curiosity whenever discussions about the past resurface. However, speculation alone does not establish what he may or may not know.
Say that Meek Mills and Puff was a little too friendly. Anytime two rappers or two people in the industry come dressed up alike on more than one occasion, listen here, man. My dudes in Philly, I got some real strong dudes in Philly. They don't play that. And they probably embarrassed for the fact to see that Meek Mills, one of the street guys that came out of there, got caught up in this Hollywood, whereas that he's dressing like Diddy, hugged up with Diddy. I think that Lil Rod know a lot of, but I know this. Two men dress alike, it's just like two men laying down. When they both get up, they both homos. And that's real talk, bruh. My man, you go to a party, dog, and the nigga got the same shirt you got on. I'm taking my shirt off. I'm walking around in a t-shirt. And then, not to blow Meek Mill's up out the water or anything like that, it was said that they checked his Google search and all that, and he was searching for some online gay porn and all that.
Oh, wow.
Crazy, bro. But listen, those are what, you know, it's crazy that money, that lifestyle, and you trying to fit into something get you. These guys never set out to do all this. Meek Mills, when he got into the game, he didn't set out to be questioning about his manhood with Diddy. But he put himself in that position.
Like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours.
Meek Mill's name became part of the conversation after an audio clip appeared online and quickly circulated across social media, triggering widespread discussion and debate. Some viewers dismissed the recording immediately, while others believed it deserved closer examination. Meek has denied any wrongdoing, yet the controversy continued to attract attention and fuel online conversations. Speculation suggested that directly including his name in the documentary could have created additional legal complications, including potential defamation claims, disputes, and the kind of intense media backlash that a major streaming platform would likely want to avoid. However, these claims remain unverified, and online theories alone do not establish that anyone was deliberately protected or that information was intentionally withheld. Still, some viewers interpreted the situation as another example of how complicated and selective discussions surrounding powerful figures can become.
Yo, they don't even bootleg no more, man. So it's going to be hard to figure it out if it does exist.
Do you believe the guy in the tape is white?
If he's bigger than Diddy and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or not?
Well, all this is by surprise to me. A lot of this is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff. I knew Puff Daddy. I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is It's crazy, but this is the world that we live in now.
Perhaps the most sensitive names to emerge in the discussion were Justin Bieber and Usher, both of whom had connections to Diddy early in their careers. Older interviews and video clips resurfaced online, bringing renewed attention to moments that many viewers had previously overlooked. Justin Bieber's emotional responses to paparazzi questions in later years added further fuel to online speculation, with some viewers questioning whether certain young artists may have experienced difficult circumstances behind the scenes. Others argued that revisiting such moments without reliable evidence could be unfair or harmful. Some believed the documentary avoided the subject deliberately, not because it was insignificant, but because publicly connecting young artists to unverified claims could create additional harm and unnecessary speculation. As a result, their names remained largely outside the documentary's broader discussion.
Stacey Dash, Ray J, Clive Davis, how are they all connected?
I want to say Diddy, but I don't.
We're going to be going through all of those possibilities.
Oh, okay. I wasn't supposed to answer. Okay.
And when we started LA as a graveyard, then, it was like, okay, we can't just say that anymore, especially after I took them up to 35 for us to film about what happened to Mo there. It's hip hop.
Yeah.
And that's going to be moving on to Tombstone.
Okay.
And we'll be going through the unexpected, unusual deaths, unsolved murders, mysteries, things of that nature, things that I know, things that I'm directly connected to. We want to create this aspect because we want to start teasing people's minds into wanting to get these crimes solved, because the truth is, it seems like the hardest murder to solve in America is a rap murder. They just don't seem to get solved.
Without question.
That's a problem.
Without question.
Because we got over 35, 40 years of hip-hop homicides.
Yes.
How many of them get solved?
They created a whole show. Yeah.
Unsolved hip-hop mystery. Are you kidding me?
Hey. I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said who? Is that old age, or does he not? They're not in the same world, or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts.
Then there is Clive Davis. If Diddy was often viewed as one of the industry's most powerful figures, some observers saw Clive as part of the larger structure behind the system, a gatekeeper positioned at an even higher level of influence. For many fans, his absence from the documentary seemed significant, not necessarily because they believed he personally required protection, but because they viewed him as a symbol of the broader entertainment establishment. Including his name would not have directed attention toward just one individual. Instead, it could have opened a much wider discussion about how the entertainment industry functions, who holds influence, and how powerful networks operate behind the scenes. Some viewers believe that kind of scrutiny is rarely welcomed by those at the highest levels of the industry. To them, this represented what they considered one of the documentary's clearest boundaries.
I've been talking about for some time now. Alex, let me begin with you. The docuseries is entitled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. How is this one different from the others that have been out there?
Well, I think that the biggest marker of what makes this film or this series different is how much time we took into putting into the making of the film, doing our due diligence to get the right voices, to the table, this is a series that spans over 30 years. So just by covering that much time, it took a lot of time for us to dig in and to kind of make sense of this story and to put this timeline together.
Yeah, and there's like some never before seen footage that I'm going to talk to you about in just a moment. But Curtis, people know about this very public, long-standing feud that you've had with Sean Combs. So what brought you to this project?
Well, I just want to make really hit television. I like the idea of it being exciting, and I picked this project and started working on it about 5 months before I found Alex. And I know that she has the artistic integrity that it would take to make it a great project, and there's the Quincy Jones era of production is find me that bass player because he's the baddest man out there in Chicago, and find me that keyboardist and fly them in from Miami, and we put them in and have the greatest jam session they ever heard, and it just always resulted in great hit music. And I take that concept into television production.
You take that into everything you do, sir.
That's right.
You really do. It really comes through, and appreciate that about you. As I said, never before seen footage of the days leading up to his arrest. Can you just talk a little bit about, was there anything that surprised you from that footage?
The footage, well, I mean, I think it's rare to find someone who's being, talked about all over the country. All eyes were on him, so to speak. And it was really interesting to see his last days of freedom, and what was sort of important to him. Obviously, there's phone calls with his attorneys, with his team. It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public, in the days leading up to his arrest and indictment. So that was interesting. It was also just interesting to see how laid back he was at times, but the footage also, in the footage we also see how he's getting incoming, lawsuits are dropping, and to get his real-time perspective on that was sort of jaw-dropping when we first got our eyes on the footage.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching the footage?
No, that didn't surprise me at all.
Because you've known him?
Yeah, those behaviors, and I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that, because how did you go about getting the footage? And do you know the intent of the videographer, why he or this person took the footage?
She's a journalist, right?
Yeah.
So she's not going to reveal her sources, so you don't have to reveal that.
Not going to reveal my sources, but I think that partnering with someone like 50, it was very much in the universe as to what we were doing.
50 Cent addressed the rumors cautiously, explaining that documentaries are often influenced by practical limitations such as runtime, the number of episodes, and legal concerns. Meanwhile, Katt Williams, through his humor and indirect remarks, appeared to suggest that some editorial decisions may have involved more than simple creative choices. Online speculation proposed several possible factors, including legal exposure, distribution issues, industry pressure, or attempts to avoid further harm to people who may have been involved. However, nothing was ever confirmed, leaving the entire discussion open to interpretation. Even so, the names being discussed never appeared in the documentary. For many viewers, the most noticeable issue was not simply who was absent, but how familiar the overall pattern seemed. One major controversy, one central figure becoming the focus, while the larger system gradually moves back into the background, similar to what some believe has happened in other entertainment scandals. After Sean Combs, The Reckoning was released, many viewers noticed how quickly the discussion became centered almost entirely around Diddy. Broader questions about who financed the events, who arranged the locations, who repeatedly attended them, and who approved the decisions gradually received less attention. Online commentators compared the situation with earlier controversies within the entertainment industry, pointing to what they viewed as a recurring pattern. One individual becomes the public face of a scandal, disturbing details begin emerging. Yet anything that appears to involve multiple powerful figures is often treated as unverified, legally sensitive, or too complicated for wider public discussion.